Hello everyone, and welcome back to our second PSA tutorial video, designed to provide you with tips and tricks to help you create effective PSAs for our new custom category focused on ending distracted driving. Let's review the submission criteria. We are accepting public service announcements 30 seconds to 2 minutes in length. The story must contain a plot line or story arc that centers on the dangers of distracted driving. Submissions cannot include copyrighted material, including images, music, logos, or any other copyrighted material. Submissions must be original productions created for this contest. And filmmakers may not engage in any unsafe activities while producing their submission, including any form of distracted driving. The category deadline is Friday, July 1st at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time. Official selections will be announced Friday, July 22nd. We believe in the stories you have to share, and we believe that only you can change the way the world views distracted driving. Create your concept, produce your film, and make a difference. We're back to share some exemplary student PSAs submitted to All-American to help share what makes a great PSA and help you make a PSA that can have a lasting impact. Let's jump right into our first PSA of this session. The choice is yours. This is a traditional PSA with a clear message and call to action. As you watch, think about the simple but effective imagery, clear story arc, and basic elements. Call to action, point of view, and target audience. This is The Choice is Yours. I love how much story this film packs into just 1 minute of screen time, and how clear the message is. Because PSAs are so short, they must develop their story quickly, only including the most essential details. And they need to deliver their message or call to action clearly and in a memorable way. The Choice is Yours excels at both of these points. We watch the two brothers grow into teens, watch them make important choices, and watch as their different choices directly impact their future. Utilizing the split screen technique allows the filmmaker to tell both of their stories at the same time. This saves time, illuminates the parallel impact of their choices, and makes for a more interesting viewer experience. Let's review the basic elements that help make this smart PSA work. The call to action. Choosing to take drugs will negatively impact what you can do in life. It's your choice. Make the right one and have a brighter future. The point of view, teenagers. And the target audience, high school students, teenagers, and potentially younger adolescents. Now let's look at some additional elements that help make The Choice is Yours work. The dramatic cut from children to teens emphasizes the theme of how quickly life goes by and the importance of every choice. The conflict is quickly introduced by a secondary character, the antagonist, who helps reveal the traits of the brothers. The split screen helps communicate two stories at once. One life is dynamic, the other is static. Note the use of authentic props and locations for the dynamic character. The shorter the film, the more the little details count, because they help fill in needed information about the story. The stark black and white text at the conclusion of the film helps further emphasize the message in a clear way to the viewer. It's a black and white choice. And the score is effective as it offers a contemplative tone. Before we move on to our next example, let's review the do's and don'ts of making a PSA. Include a clear call to action that spells out the response or action you want your audience to take. Make it authentic and human-centered. People care more about a cause and are inclined to change when they see how it personally affects them and their community. Know your target audience. To keep your message relevant, make sure that people who fit your target audience actually help create the PSA. Build awareness with purpose. If you want to invoke change, you can't just list all of the reasons a behavior is wrong. You need to provide ways that people can actually make a difference by including action items that your audience can immediately put into practice. Now, the things you don't want to do. Don't forget the power of your characters to make an emotional connection. Characters are why people invest in stories. If we care about the characters you share on screen, we are more likely to be inspired to act. Don't use only scare tactics to make your point. Scare tactics can actually have the opposite of the intended effect by over-dramatizing or dehumanizing the issue. Be thoughtful when creating PSAs that describe harsh truths. And don't neglect tone. Even though PSAs are short, they can still offer a strong sense of tone through music, imagery, lighting, and other film elements. Create a tone that helps illuminate the weight of your message. Okay, time for our next PSA. Silence is deadly. As you watch, think about how quickly the filmmaker sets up the problem and how the imagery helps provide a strong sense of the tone. This is Silence is Deadly.
What are you doing? There's still time. You're my friend. You're supposed to help me. You're my friend. You're supposed to help me. Pick up your phone, please. Please, help me. Come on, there's still time.
Like A Day at the Beach from our first session, this PSA utilizes contrast to help deliver its message. We meet two friends in very different places physically and, more importantly, emotionally. The contrast provides the foundation for the story concept, and the characters help provide the powerful emotional connection. It also helps that the production quality is excellent, offering compelling cinematography full of moody lighting and unique angles, clear audio, and a score that perfectly reflects the mood. Keep in mind that the PSAs I'm sharing are also checking off all of the do boxes and avoiding the don'ts. How many people can relate to playing video games or similar activities rather than addressing the needs of those around them? And the story and the characters are authentic representations of real life, directly related to the intended target audience. And rather than fill the screen with statistics and condemn either character's actions, we are simply offered their contrasting positions, forcing us to confront our own actions. Let's review those key elements. The call to action. Don't be afraid to say something if you think a friend is in trouble. The point of view. Teenagers. And the target audience. High school students, teenagers, and potentially younger adolescents. This film packs a heavy emotional punch because of the severity of the topic and because of the filmmaker's approach. What stands out is the crisp pacing and the contrasting characters' emotions portrayed through parallel editing. Creating two characters in such sharp contrast, one contemplating suicide and the other completely removed from emotional reality, helps emphasize the primary emotion as well as the main idea. Sound bridges and other key sound design elements help transition between the two scenes and add needed texture to the events. Using just a bit of dialogue helps inform the viewer of the emotional context of the main character. The overall production of the film is high, including a color palette that reflects the dark emotional situation. Using text messages and video games help make the situation relatable for the intended audience. We will look at more PSAs made by students just like you, but now it's time to start to apply what you have learned. To help you generate ideas for the distracted driving contest, or really any PSA, we will discuss choosing your topic, narrowing your focus, building a strategy, research, imagery, music, and tone, and tips for pre-production and putting it all together on screen. Step 1 is pretty obvious: choosing your topic. Your topic should be personally important to you, or an issue that you see as a real problem facing society. Having an emotional connection to the topic or issue will help you determine the overall message and even tone of the PSA. Be sure to consider your target audience and the action you want viewers to take after watching your PSA. There are many sources you can use to find ideas. Issues in your own community are a great place to start. Other options include social media, current events, or even a simple Google search for PSA topics and ideas. Step 2, narrowing your focus. Presenting a message that is too broad can limit the impact on your audience by watering down the emotional appeal and ability to communicate the message in a short amount of screen time. Think about the examples you watched. Each does a good job of focusing on a specific topic with a specific target audience. Addressing world hunger is much more difficult than addressing the need for a safe bicycle lane in an urban environment. Think, what exactly am I trying to get people to do, and who am I trying to get to do it? If you're creating distracted driving PSAs, how can you make it unique and not just another cliche? Step 3, building your strategy. Refine your message, choose a title, define your target audience, write a one-sentence summary or logline, determine your primary emotion, this is what you want your audience to feel, write your catchphrase or call to action. Even if you don't explicitly share it in the PSA, it's a good idea to create one just to keep you focused on your core message. Determine your medium. Is it a traditional narrative, animation, or some other genre? Identify your resources. What equipment do you actually have access to? What can you borrow, rent? This process will help you determine what is possible during your production. Step 4, research, research, research. Even if you don't use the research, it's important to know the facts so that you can shape the story concept around real statistics and relevant information. Gather facts and statistics from reliable sources. And keep track of your resources so that you can credit them and gain credibility. Compile compelling quotes related to your topic. These may be useful to sway your audience. Generate persuasive opinion statements as you gather facts and quotes. These will help you stay on track and make sure that you maintain a consistent message and tone. Just be sure that all opinion statements reflect your primary emotion. Step 5, imagery and music. Because PSAs are short, providing images that convey powerful emotions and ideas is essential. To keep your pace quick, plan on approximately 10 images per minute, and this may include text such as statistics and catchphrases. Your imagery can include dramatic angles that reflect the emotions of the characters, symbols that reflect the message, and B-roll that help support a more abstract sense of the tone. It's typically best to keep the musical score simple so that it supports the primary emotion and overall tone, without distracting from the imagery on screen. We recommend using our library of free music or writing your own original music to avoid issues with copyright. Step 6, putting it all together. Now that you have gathered all of the necessary focus information, it's time to organize your content and images into an influential final product. We suggest a simple storyboard grid that marries images with emotions and messaging. The easiest way to do this is to set up a simple grid with 2 columns. In one column, scene, what's actually on the screen. In the other column, the emotion or message conveyed. What do you intend to convey? Keep in mind that purposeful repetition of key images, catchphrases, or stats can be highly influential on your audience. Step 7, pre-production. This process will vary depending on the style of the PSA you want to create, but is nonetheless essential to make sure that your vision becomes a reality. The more organized you are going into a project, the better the entire experience will be. Determine your budget and resources. Plan your production schedule. Gather your crew. It's okay to keep it simple, but find the best people for each position so that you get the look and feel you're going for. Create a script breakdown sheet. This will be informed by your storyboard grid. Cast members, props, costumes, extras, all of the different things you need to make sure your production turns out great. Creative planning. Create a shot list for the essential shots you need. Again, this will be informed by your storyboard. What specific shots are you looking for? Will they require special cinematography techniques, lighting, elaborate set design? Acquire necessary equipment. Obviously, this will include cameras, audio, lighting, and anything else involved in your production. Book locations and actors. We strongly encourage the use of professional actors and authentic locations whenever possible. If this isn't possible, do your best to rehearse with actors and find locations that fit the appropriate tone of your film. Rehearse, rehearse, and rehearse more. You can never be too prepared, and your crew and the performances of your actors will prove it. Send call sheets. This will inform all involved of the specifics of the shoot and make sure that things go smoothly on set. Okay, let's get to our final student PSA of the session, the magic of reading. This film is an example of an inspirational PSA, and I'm sharing it to show you that you can inspire change by portraying an uplifting message. There's no reason why a distracted driving PSA needs to be all doom and gloom. This PSA is much more elaborate in production, and it uses high-quality visual effects to immerse the viewer in a well-developed story arc. As you watch, consider the complete journey of the protagonist and the dynamic nature of the character. In other words, how he changes throughout the story and how it helps reveal the larger message.
I just don't get the big deal about books.
You know, they say that you're not supposed to judge one
By its cover, I know.
Okay, will you at least try to read one?
Okay, fine.
Hello, did you find everything okay? Mm-hmm. All right, let me check this out for you. And here's a free bookmark.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the basic elements. The call to action. Read more, books take you places. The point of view. Children and adolescents. And the target audience. Young children and perhaps even parents. Now, the additional elements that help the magic of reading be successful. The quick exposition shot shows the exterior of the library we are entering, establishing the location. A sound bridge helps us transition into the library interior. It incorporates dialogue to help establish the characters and their individual motivations. At times, the camera moves with the characters, and at others, it lets the characters come into the frame. This variety creates a more dynamic experience for the viewer. Special effects are used to attract the viewer's attention and highlight the core message that books take you places and offer an escape. And the pacing moves quickly from one mini scene to the next. I remind you that these are just a few examples of impactful PSAs with the ability to make a difference, all created by students just like you. We hope that you will join us for our next PSA tutorial session, where we will share even more styles, techniques, tips, and tricks that you can use in your next film project. To learn more about our distracted driving PSA category, including the awesome prizes and how you can make a difference, visit hsfilmfest.com/2022-custom-categories. Please join us in supporting this important cause. I'll see you for the third session.